So I woke up this morning super early, like 6 a.m., which is really strange for me, and I was like vibrating. I tattoo for a living, so I don't get up past 9. We start our work day at like noon or something, so it was just, and it was like boing, and I'm up. And it felt like time to I love the stuttering. I'll get used to this eventually. The first thing that's just this thing came in to me was like managing my awakening, and I started to think of like how much time I had spent trying to manage this entire process and trying to make the body feel okay and trying to do it the right way and being just pushed and pulled in any direction I could possibly think of. And I did it all, like trying to appear spiritual, trying to not appear spiritual, appearing spiritual like being sort of reserved or being non-reactive, when realistically in so many of these situations that I was being triggered and trying not to be reactive, I was being super reactive and just putting a good face on it. And then I bet all the while just radiating this just this intense just being triggered, and then trying to put a calm face on it, and then subsequently wondering why people didn't respond when I talked about stuff. And this image came to my head of this old video game, and I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but here's how it goes. Imagine it's like a carnival on the screen in this video game, and there's this bear, right? This little digital bear that's got this target on it, and you've got a gun. And he starts out and he walks this way, and you shoot him. And when you hit him, he rears up and makes a sound and then turns the other way. And then he goes this way. And you shoot him again and he rears up. And the goal is to keep him as long as you can on the screen. But every time you shoot him, the faster he goes, and bam, you'll shoot him and he'll go this way, and then bam, and then it just keeps going faster and faster and faster, and then finally you can't track him and you keep up and he runs off, and however long that you've kept him on there is how many points you get. And I went, that's me. That's totally me. Not only am I the bear, but also the person shooting it. And when I'm shooting it, it's like I'm trying to manage something. Like, okay, I just watched this video, especially with videos. See somebody that you know, that you trust, somebody that looks like they've got it all together, one of the very popular speakers. And I'm not saying whether anybody has it all together or not, it's beside the point, but if you gravitate towards them and you go, oh, they've got a really good handle on things, and then somewhere in the video they'll say, well, it's like this, or you should do this. And you go, okay, do that. And then you run off and do that for a while. And then I would find that I would absorb and adopt almost anything that was put in front of me. And then I would watch the next video and, oh, no, not, okay, so cross this off then. So not do that. Okay, do this. And a lot of it was like, okay, you need to meditate. Okay. Well, hang on, I went over this video over here. Wait, they say that you don't need to meditate. Don't do that. Okay, don't meditate. Oh, okay, so over here, you go, all right, I just need to do self-inquiry. Oh, okay, all right, so don't do self-inquiry. Don't meditate. Okay, no. Don't inquire, just stop. Just stop altogether. And it goes on and on and on, and then I'm like holding 50 of these different requests, and The subconscious thought is which one of these is going to either make me wake up faster or help me manage what's happening to me. And in the meantime, you know, the body's being triggered by whatever is coming up at the time. And there's this entire urge to just throw it all out the window and be like, this is all nonsense. This is all bullshit. Why am I doing this? And being completely powerless to even change the managing. It seemed like the managing had to happen for a while. There was a long time where I just wasn't even aware that I was managing it. It was just this like script running in the background that said, okay, you know, sizing up, okay, you've had this much awakening, and to continue forward and to maintain, not only do you have to look a certain way, appear a certain way, behave a certain way, but these are the practices. And then there's, of course, a natural progression where I wasn't able to hear certain things, and then I would hear a certain thing, and in the moment it was really nice. It was this aha moment of like, oh, I get it. But then right after that, sometimes like seconds or like minutes or the next day even, okay, let's adopt this new pattern of behavior because now I've seen it. Now let's just try to absorb it. Let's try to embody it. And I have this insight that's like it's like a little baby egg. It's like a little chick that's hatched out of the egg. And I'm going, well, run around and be a full-size chicken. I don't even know what to do with it yet. It hasn't even fully absorbed into the body yet. And it's highly likely that whatever my mind reported back to me about the insight was probably either a shallow or a distorted version of it. And then you go, okay, well, I'm going to go act on this. So imagine doing that endlessly, just over and over and over again. And I don't really know that I could say that there was ever a result that was satisfying in that managing of just going, okay, well, I'm just going to drop it all. But it's such a paradox. It's like a catch-22. You can't just say, well, all right, I'm just going to drop it all, because not only is that another thing that I'm adding to this list of behaviors and things that I think are needed, that I've decided that are important. This is how my awakening is going to go. You know, like I've read, there's either these stages or these steps or this thing or there's this next thing, and I'm writing my own fucking itinerary for how this is going to go. So not only is it adding an extra thing, but it's when those insights come, or there's that resistance to just dropping it all, that has to run its course. It has to run its course, and it's like a wave, and the wave has to finally go and crash and break on the beach, but it might be thousands of miles out to sea when you notice it, and it has to just keep going and keep going and keep going. And while you're in the middle of that wave, that energy is like the reactivity, it's the frustration, and I could see it long before I could do anything about it, and then try to tell myself that it was okay, or even worse, that it was unnecessary, or that I needed to repress it or hold it back, or some version of, okay, well, I've seen through it, therefore it's no longer an issue, which turned out to be the hugest mistake, because seeing through something here at least was like the first step. It was like an opening gambit of like, okay, well, at least it's on the view screen, at least it's gone above the level of subconscious thought. It's noticed in my behaviors, it's noticed in how I'm reacting to things, how I'm talking to people. but that seemed to be, it was just the first indicator of it. And then at that point, when it felt appropriate, attention could be given to it. But even then, sitting down and going, okay, well, I'm going to give this some attention, it doesn't work like that. Not at all. And in managing it, it's always pointing to these attempts to managing it, and then the resultant just this clench and this like, ugh. It's pointing to you're not in charge. There's no way that you're in charge. There was no way that I was in charge, no matter how much I had this itinerary, how much I felt like I got to a certain stage, and then I wanted to, cross it off the list like a calendar, or I wanted to measure my height, my awakening height, like when a kid's growing up and you put their back to the wall and you put the ruler on and you make the little line. I'm like, all right, mind identification, check, or Fetter 3, check, or whatever the stages are, and some of them are quite sort of grandiose sounding with lots of nifty names, which also is just, it just seems to be another trap. If you gravitate towards that, that's fine, but moving into here, anytime I was trying to assign a stage and sort of size up where I felt like I was at, it caused more managing. And then later on, it was like seeing that, like, okay, but what's my criteria? How am I measuring this? First, I have to access memory, which is almost immediately distorted. Then I have to, and this is looking through human conditioning, right? And then I have to, looking through, it's not a clear lens when it's human conditioning, when I have to look through this stuff and go, all right, well, I behave differently I behave differently today in this situation, so I get a fucking gold star. Or that's being a little silly about it. Or I felt clear during this, or my level of clarity lasted for longer, or there was a deeper level of absorption during meditation, or I just sat there and stared at the wall for an hour and felt pretty good about that afterwards. But I was always referencing something after the fact, and it was always noting what the conditioned body and mind did. Always keeping a list. And then when you figure that one out, then I was like so frustrated. I'm like, fuck, I'm managing again. And it became just this horrifying, like this death spiral, this loop. And the mind here is so highly analytical. Done so many technical things for work or hobbies. And I've read books since I was really young, so I'm saying, well, I'm fairly analytical and I suppose reasonably intelligent. And then the analysis would come in, and endless fucking analysis about this, that, and the other, and it wasn't even limited to me. That analysis became like a life of its own, and like this just possessed entity. And then it was looking at other folks and using them as a litmus test, and just poor people just trying to, not interested in this type of subject or in any of it, just trying to do their lives, just trying to manage their lives, right, to the best of their ability, like everyone is, like every single fucking person is. And judging and going, oh, well, look at them being reactive. Oh, look at them, they're entirely mind identified. Which is, you guessed it, coming from a place of mind identification. It's easy now to laugh about it. And I won't say that there aren't pockets of management out there. It seems to be inevitable. It's like the body is trained, like, okay, well, this happened, and this provides a deeper state, or this feels really good. Let's still milk it. You know, that's the addictive personality. That's the junkie, the heroin addicts, the alcoholic that's just going, all right, this feels good, and I get to put a label on it too. Not this time, it's not damaging because I'm not waking hungover or dope sick or in prison, or I haven't punched somebody out or committed some, broke into some place. This time it's spiritual, so it's totally okay, and none of that really shows up in conscious thought. It's that deep conditioned, I need more addict behavior, and watching it just expand out into everything. Like I said, it's funny now. In the middle of it, it was just horrifying, especially when I could put a label on it that says I'm right because this is spiritual, or I'm awake, or some such nonsense. It's like it got worse after the first flash, the first opening, Kensho. It's because I didn't have a guide. I didn't have a teacher. I knew what had happened and everything was different, but I didn't really understand how to cultivate that, or to just rest with it, whatever. It was more, and because there wasn't, at least in this case, there wasn't somebody there to guide me through that initial awakening. The sensations that happened were so strong and the bliss was so intense, and then I got paroled and I was out in the world trying to manage 8 million different things, including a new life. And it was just, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm awakened because I know some stuff appears very, very differently. And also I really need that good feeling again. So trying to do whatever it was I could to get that feeling back. So the managing started almost instantly, and I look back on it at some points with a regret, although obviously it was completely necessary. That was 15, 16 years ago. I've been strutting around this whole time thinking I knew a thing, or thinking I had a thing, and watching it just smacking my head against a wall, and learning these lessons the extremely slow way. It had to happen. I mean, as they say, it couldn't have happened any other way. So I think that's good for now.